Good afternoon, students. Welcome to our online class. This is your third period, and the subject is social science. Students, today, through this recorded video class, I am going to continue the same chapter 4, that is globalization and the Indian economy, from the book Economics. I appeal all my students to watch this video carefully and listen to my lecture, my explanation with more attentiveness, so that they can understand the concepts in a clear way. Okay, students. In today's class, I am going to cover the topic factors that have enabled globalization. What are the factors that helped, that assisted for the growth of globalization? So, what are the factors that enabled the globalization? In this topic, we will read about that transportation, and second one, that is communication. Similarly, next topic we will read about the use of IT, information and technology in globalization. How this information technology, how this IT is used in globalization nowadays. Okay. Similarly, what is meant by liberalization of foreign trade? What is meant by liberalization of foreign trade? So I'll explain the meaning, that what is meant by liberalization of foreign trade. Then I'll explain what is called, or what are called, trade barriers. What are trade barriers? Why trade barriers are imposed by the countries? Examples of trade barriers. Similarly, what is liberalization? These topics, and if time is there, I'll go for WTO, that is World Trade Organization, its establishment and its functions. So these are the topics, students. Today we will cover. Now, students, come to the first topic, that is what are the factors that enable the globalization? What are the factors that are responsible for the development of, for the improvement of, for the growth of globalization? Okay, so here your answer. The following are the factors. The following are the factors that are responsible for the growth of globalization, that enabled what? Globalization. So what are those factors? I am explaining. The first factor is here technology. Technology, or the improvement in technology, the growth of technology is the main factor that enabled, that is responsible for the growth of globalization. So technology is a major factor, key factor. Technology is the key factor or major factor that is responsible for the growth of globalization. How? You see, the rapid growth of technology is responsible, I told you. How? For instance, if you see in the past 50 years, in the past 50, 60, 70 years, we have seen there's a lot of changes, there's a lot of improvement made in the field of transportation technology. In the past 50 years or 60 years or 70 years, we have seen that there were several improvements. In the past 50 to 60 years, there were several improvements made in the field of transportation technology. Transportation is developed. Okay. I mean, here fast moving vehicles were invented. Okay. This development of transport technology or introduction of fast moving vehicles like aeroplane, jet plane, spacecraft, fast moving ships or trains or buses, etc., or trucks. So these fast moving vehicles, which are the birth of, which led to the birth, which were came to existence with the help of change in transport technology. This transportation technology and their means like trains, aeroplanes, ships, trucks, etc., they helped in the quick delivery. Okay, they helped in the quick delivery of goods and services in less time, covering longer distances, that at lower cost. I mean, with the improvement in transportation technology, gave birth to producing fast moving vehicles such as trains, aeroplanes, ships, trucks, buses, etc. And these vehicles, this means of transportation, the transport technology helped in fast movement of goods and services quickly, covering longer distance with a cheaper cost. I mean, with fast moving vehicles, you can transport goods and services to longer distance quickly and at cheaper rate. So this is only because of this is possible only because of development in technology or development in transportation technology. Similarly, one more remarkable development is responsible or that enabled globalization, that is information and communication technology, IT. Information and communication technology is the second factor that is responsible for the growth of globalization. Okay, today in recent times, technology in the areas of telecommunication, I repeat, in recent times, technology in the areas of telecommunication, computers, internet has been changing rapidly. In the past 20 to 30 years, if we see there is a change in communication technology in the field of telecommunication, in the field of this computers, in the field internet, or internet, computers, telecommunication technology is rapidly increasing. Telecommunication facilities such as telegraph, telephone, which includes mobiles also, mobile phones, telephone, telegraph, mobiles, internet, fax, all these are made the world closer. They made the world shrinking means becoming smaller. This information and communication technology which made in this past 30 years, which increased rapidly in the past 30 years in the field of computers, telecommunication and internet, it made the world closer, it brought the world closer, it made the world shrinking. Today you can contact any person within seconds through mobiles, through internet, through fax, through telegraph, etc. So these communication facilities, these communication devices which we invented helped in doing foreign trade, in doing trade, in connecting other countries, in knowing the information about different markets, to know about the changes in the markets, to know about the tastes of the people. Okay, so nowadays you can contact one another around the world easily by sitting at your room. On the chair, you can contact any person across the world. To access information instantly, to get the information instantly, to access the information instantly and to communicate from remote areas, these telecommunication facilities are very, very useful. Today, you can connect to the remote areas through this communication technology. Remote areas means what? Those areas where man cannot go easily. Desert areas, forest areas, mountain areas, swamps and boggy areas are some areas where man cannot go easily. So today you can contact the remote areas, the people in remote areas through this information and communication technology. And this is possible because of satellites. The satellites are transferring our signals. So that's why we are sending so many satellites into the space. So these satellites are helping. Some satellites, not all satellites, some of the satellites are helping in transferring the signals and passing the communication. So today we can contact the people who are living in remote areas with the help of telecommunication or internet or computers or fax through these satellites. Okay, satellite communication devices. As you would be aware, computers have now. You know that today computers have entered in every field, everywhere computers. Every shop there is computer. Every school there is computer. Every organization, institution, workplace, everywhere there are computers. So you are aware that computers have now entered in every field. Train, buses, okay, aeroplanes, ships, everywhere computers are there. Okay, so computers have entered in almost every field of activity. Wherever we are performing any activity, they are done with the help of computers. So computers have entered into every field of activity. You might have also ventured into the amazing world of internet. Yes, internet. You can get any information. You can access any information through internet nowadays by doing through Google. You can access internet, and this internet is possible through satellite devices. Through satellite, this communication is possible. So internet, you can get any information, where you can obtain and share information on almost anything you want to know. Internet also used to send instant electronic mail, mail. Mail kar dena. So internet always help us for sending messages instantly. That is electronic mail, email. It is through internet. What? We can send instant messages. That is called electronic mail, email. We can send voicemail also. Okay, electronic mail. Both can be sent through internet across the world. That too with less price. With less cost. You can easily send that emails, electronic mails, voicemails through internet. And this is possible only because of with the development of information and communication technology. Now I will give one example. That how this internet, this telecommunication and computers are used in globalization. How internet, how telephones, how electronic mails, how this helped the globalization. One best example I am giving you. I am reading that one, listen carefully. Use of IT in globalization. One box is given in the textbook. Use of IT. IT means information and communication technology. IT means information and communication technology. So how IT, how information and communication technology is used in globalization, I'll explain with the help of an example. Yes. A news magazine published for London readers. London, in England. So there are some people who are the readers of a magazine. So a news magazine which is meant for the London readers is to be designed and printed in Delhi. Readers are where? In London. Who will read the magazine? The people of London. But the news magazine is designed and printed in our Delhi, India. How? The news reporters in London, they will gather the news, they'll gather the information, and they'll send their information through internet, through mail, or sometimes through telecommunication. The London people also design the text. What type of text they want, they'll design, and the design they're sending through mail, electronic mail, sometimes voice. Design is sending through electronic mail. They can communicate through fax also or mobile phones also. After getting their information by the journalists, after getting the text model, the designers who are there in Delhi office, they'll design the text, and in the text they'll put the news of London. So news is written on the text. After that one, again they will send that text to London readers. London people. Is it okay or not? When they say okay, then that text will be published, printed in the form of magazine. And after this magazine is printed, the same magazine they are transporting through aeroplanes to London. And the magazines are available in London market to the London readers. Even the payment, because we have given our service, Delhi office where designing is done, text is made, text designing, printing, everything is done, and sending the magazines to London. So the London people, the London head office, they're doing payment, and the payment is also done through mail, internet. That is e-banking. Internet e-banking. Through e-banking, instantly they're sending from London bank to Indian bank. They're transferring their amount, their payment. So making payment also done through e-banking, internet e-banking system. So this everything is done within 24 hours. Within 24 hours, this work is done. London people are sending that news. They're sending the test design. Based on the design, the news is been drafted. Then the news that is printed, magazines are made, magazines are sent to London and available in the London market for the London readers. Payment also they have done instantly through internet e-banking. So here it shows, head office is London, branch office Delhi, designing there, text, the text drafting is here, printing is here, transportation from aeroplanes, amount transfer, payment through net banking, e-banking. So in this what we come to know that globalization, interconnectedness of countries or interconnection of countries or markets. What else you come to know that this information and communication technology is helping in globalization. Helping in globalization. Next, liberalization of foreign trade and foreign investment policy. Liberalization means what? What is the meaning of liberalization? Means removing all the barriers. When you remove barriers, when you remove obstacles, when you remove barriers, when you remove what obstacles, that is called liberalization. I mean, when you make free without any restrictions or absence of all restrictions, absence of all type of restrictions by the countries, by the concerned governments, is called liberalization. I repeat, liberalization means what? Removing all the barriers, removing all the restrictions, I mean trade restrictions. Whenever a country or whenever countries, they remove their trade barriers, they remove the restrictions on imports and exports, when they allow other countries to sell their products in our country, so the removal of barriers, removal of obstacles, making the trade free, making free trade, then we can say that is what liberalization. So liberalization of foreign trade and foreign investment policy. Let us return to the example of imports of Chinese toys. See, Chinese toys, the Chinese government, they got an opportunity to export the Chinese toys into Indian markets where the toys rate is very high. Chinese toys are good in design, good in quality, with less price. That's why Indian consumers, they purchased Chinese toys by stopping purchasing our native or domestic toys because they are high in quality, high in price and poor in quality. So here trade is there, free trade is going between India and China. I mean, our Indian government is allowing the Chinese toys. The Indian government is allowing the Chinese toys in Indian markets. I mean, they can come and they can sell their goods here. Suppose if our Indian government imposes some restrictions on Chinese toys, suppose the Indian government made some rules and regulations. Through the rules and regulations, they're making that imports, they're making some restrictions on the imports, they're putting some barriers, that is called what? Trade barriers. I mean, whenever Indian government makes some rules and regulations, some laws, in order to stop the entering of Chinese toys or Chinese goods into India, that is called what? Trade barriers. Example, putting tax. Imposing tax is an example of trade barrier. Imposing tax is an example of trade barrier. For example, if the Chinese toys are coming, the Chinese government want to sell want to sell their Chinese toys in Indian markets, and if our Indian government is making some laws, acts and laws, through that they're imposing some tax on Chinese toys, then what will happen? The Chinese government, I mean the people who are willing to sell the toys in Indian market, they have to pay some tax to the Indian government. If they pay tax, then they have to sell their toys in more price in Indian markets, otherwise they'll get loss. They have to sell their goods, their toys at more price because already they're paying some amount to the Indian government in the form of tax. So they have to increase the price of their toys. When they increase the price of the toys, then naturally the Indian consumers, they'll not prefer to purchase Chinese toys because they're higher rate. When they'll not purchase, then what the Chinese government will do? They stop bringing their goods to Indian markets. Okay, they stop bringing their goods into Indian markets. They stop bringing the Chinese toys into Indian market for selling, because if they want to bring, they have to pay some tax to the Indian government. So imposing tax on imports is one kind of trade barrier. Okay, if there is no trade barriers, that means what? There is free trade. Without trade barriers, we can say free trade. If trade barriers are there, then we can say restrictive foreign trade. Okay. WHO, I mean World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization always says all the countries or issues directions to all the countries all the time that they should encourage free trade. I mean, any country and every country can export and import goods from any country. There should not be any restrictions by the concerned governments. So these are the orders given by WTO, World Trade Organization. But in that case, what is happening? When foreign goods are flooded in Indian markets and they are available at cheaper price and good in quality, and if the same goods are manufactured in India, the Indian consumers are not purchasing Indian goods, but they are preferring foreign goods because they are available less price, better quality. So in this way, there is a great loss to our Indian government. How? Our Indian money will go to foreign countries. Moreover, our native producers, our domestic producers, those who are producing the goods, their goods will not be sold. When the goods will not be sold, then they stop manufacturing. They have to shut down their industries. When they shut down the industries, their employment will be thrown out. And it led to what? Poverty. So that is why, despite the WTO is regularly, deliberately advising all the countries to encourage free trade among all the nations, but still, every country, some restrictions they imposed on imports. Every country. Like India, suppose we are imposing some restrictions on other countries' imports. Like that, other countries also will impose some restrictions on Indian exports. Like that. So, imposing tax on foreign goods is a type of trade barrier. Trade barrier always protects the domestic industries. Trade barriers always protect the interest of the native producers. Okay, that is very, very important. Otherwise, moreover, our entire wealth will be taken by the foreign countries, and our native producers, they will be the sufferers. Our industries will be closed. They will, because their goods are not purchased by any consumer due to high price. They have to close their industries. Deindustrialization will take place. Okay, and employment will be stopped. Employment opportunities will be reduced. Factories will be shut down. Leads to poverty. So every country, despite WTO orders, every country imposes some sort of trade restrictions on imports of other countries, which is called as trade barriers. Trade barriers. A trade barriers means what? Imposing certain restrictions. Imposing certain restrictions on imports from other countries is called trade barriers. The best example is imposing tax on imports. Tax on imports is the best example of trade barrier. And what is liberalization? What is meant by liberalization? Liberalization means when you remove all the trade barriers, when you remove all the trade restrictions and allow free flow of exports and imports, then that is called liberalization. Liberalization is also necessary. Trade barriers also necessary. Now it is the responsibility of the government that on what we have to impose trade barriers and to what extent we have to provide liberalization. We have to provide what liberal thing. I mean, the government of India has to decide that in which field you have to be liberal, and in which field we have to impose what taxes, we have to introduce trade barriers or restrictions. That has to be done. Okay, because in this way, by imposing trade restrictions, trade barriers or tax on imports, to some extent we can protect our economy. We can protect our domestic economy. Otherwise, foreign goods will be flooded into Indian market, and our industries, our employers, our producers, they will be in great trouble. So this is over, students. Now, up to here I am stopping this. Just a minute. Yes, up to here I am stopping this video. In the next period, I will start from World Trade Organization. What is it? What are its functions? Why it was established? Similarly, impact of globalization on India. Okay. Next, rising competition. Like that. Okay. The struggle for a fair globalization. The struggle for a fair globalization. So these topics are covered in the next period. Okay, students. I hope you have understood this concept. I suggest all my students to read the textbook once again of all these topics. Okay, students. Thank you. Stay safe.